ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We are live. It is Super Bowl week. We're here to break down the big game and other going-ons. I got my boy TJ here. Thank you very much for joining us here on the 3rd of February. TJ, how you feeling today? Obviously, a lot to get into. You looking sharp over there.
I'm fired up. Super Bowl preview show. This is our first, hopefully, of many Super Bowl preview shows. I'm excited. Watched the Madden simulation yesterday of the Patriots Seahawks.
Was it a beating like you thought?
Seahawks went up 14-0. Also, I'm watching all my squares to see if I would have hit squares or not and stuff like that.
I love it. That's so good.
Yeah, Seattle went up 14-0. And then I don't know how many times I tried to get it out of my buddy that works for EA. And I tried to ask him, how many times did you guys have to simulate this, or was it a real simulation? Because they got it down to where Seattle had to score from the 2-yard line, just like they did in real life a few years back, right?
Yeah.
And Seattle ends up running the ball, and Kenneth Walker pretty much easily gets in for a touchdown, right?
Sure.
So it was kind of cool to see.
So
Seattle.
What you're saying is that any time of the year, we can go ahead and do a Madden game. We can run that, bet on squares, and just let the Madden game dictate our squares at any given time during the year if we miss football.
I mean, EA Sports and EA Sports with Madden and the football and the Super Bowl, it kind of goes hand in hand. I know
it all does. The simulations are something that we look forward to annually every year.
Yeah. I know a guy for the whole year. Before he put in a bet, he would just simulate the game on Madden. This was like 2012, 2013. He would simulate the game on Madden and he would just bet whatever happened in that game, right? I can't remember if he won or lost, but I think that when I think about this Super Bowl and the rematch, I used to always say this with Pete Carroll. Obviously, he got too cute on that play call, right?
Yeah.
And when we were, back in the day, the only thing I can compare to is playing Madden, right? So we used to play Madden where we would have, $10,000 stacked up on the PlayStation, right? And you put up your 5,000, they put up their 5,000. Obviously, it wasn't all my money I was playing, but like 1,000 would be my money. Everybody else is betting on me. Someone's betting the other guy. And late game situations, it's always agreed upon that. What would you do if your life was on the line? You're gambling with other people's money.
Yeah.
And that would usually be a pretty serious conversation you would have before you're playing the game. So if I'm putting $1,000 on my buddy, we're going to Memphis to go play in the hood, late game decisions. What would you do if someone had a gun to your head? What is the play you're going to call? If I know you're going to treat a game like that, I'm willing to bet my last dollar on you, right? That's how it was Madden, right? So with Pete Carroll, I always felt like he did not feel that way. He was trying to be the smartest guy in the room. He was trying to trick them when you have one of the best short yardage backs in NFL history in Marshawn Lynch.
He was just scared they were going to sell out and stop it. And obviously,
but what are you scared of? What are you scared of, right? Even if they sell out, what are you scared of?
Right. I get it. I'm with you.
What down was it when he threw the interception? Gene, can you tell me that really quick? I think it was second down.
I was going to say I thought it was third down. But and you know that Malcolm Butler and the whole story of how they just practiced him. He wasn't even a starting CB. He came in and just subbed in that play and recognized it and jumped the route on a 50-50 ball. It's like not even, and that's the lore in the story that everybody takes away. It's unbelievable.
It was an amazing
backup guy. He was like nickel.
It was an amazing. I mean, the break on the ball and you literally.
Oh my God!
Really respect the whole dynamics of football just in that one play. All right, so we get to the point, right? Pete Carroll, I think you hand the ball off because you take no risks when your season's on the line. Like that was it. You had the Super Bowl at your hands with the best short yards back.
You're all saying second down. It
was second down, right? All right, so we all agree, right? Second down. You hand if a gun's to Pete Carroll's head, he's running the ball. We know that. He tried to be cute, tried to be funny, tried to be sexy, tried to be the smartest guy in the room. Didn't work out. Now back to what you were saying, Buff. Yeah, like you don't blame Russell Wilson for making that throw. It looks like when he's cocking back, it's there. Like the play call is there. And the play that Butler makes is just amazing. But I agree, Seven Springs. Dustino in the house too, I think. It doesn't, but anyway. Yeah, I think that it was a bad call. It changed NFL history. And, I think that all coaches should really look back as play calling and think, what do you call if your life is on the line? If your kid's life is on the line? If your kid is going to die if you don't make the right call and you don't score here, what do you do? That's
you got one play left of the entire season. And that's why I just can't believe that he wanted to get cute when there's one play left. You just run the fucking ball. Run the ball with beast mode and you make your bed with it. I'd rather hang my reputation on that dude's back than trying to get cute and everything would happen, man. And that's just my old school mentality. When I play Madden, I love to run the ball, especially in those short yardage situations. I never try to get too cute. It is what it is. If you stop me, stop me. I'm pretty good at running the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah, a real quick thought too. Just talking football really quick. I was thinking about maybe I was thinking about maybe like what teams could be here next year and all that kind of stuff. And man, can you imagine if the Texans get back a healthy Joe Mixon, a healthy Tank Dell, a healthy Nico Collins with that defense and a healthy Dalton Schultz? That offense is going to be with Christian Kirk, with Jaden Higgins. I think that, but Sean, I agree. You run the ball 3 times with Lynch. That's it. You run the ball. I've always been surprised when Tim Tebow came to the NFL. Why Tim Tebow isn't there for a QB sneak, right? Same thing with like Russell Wilson. You could have literally done a tush push with Russell Wilson. It wasn't as popular back then. Or you just hand the ball off to Marshawn Lynch 4 times right up the middle. No, I know, Tyson. You're right. See, that's the only. I don't think I even mentioned CJ Stroud and all those names, right? That's like the one guy that scares me.
No, you didn't. I didn't say anything about it. I was going to say, so are we just ditching Stroud and putting in somebody? Are we trading him while he's got asset? Like, I mean,
I could be honest with you. If I was a Texans, I would
trade him, right?
I would entertain a Jameis Winston, a Kirk Cousins, and just bring someone in there.
And you would still get return value for him too, because there's still enough pedigree from his rookie year.
So Seven Springs says that Giants are about to pull a Patriots turnaround. I'm going to pull this up really quick. This popped up yesterday, and I'll just talk about it really quick. But Drake May last year had 3 wins and 12 starts. Jackson Dart, 4 wins and 12 starts. Drake May had 4 more yards passing than Jackson Dart. They both had 15 touchdown passes. Drake May had 10 interceptions last year. Jackson Dart had 5 interceptions. And then Jackson Dart had 9 rushing touchdowns. Drake May had 2. But
how many games did Jackson Dart play this year?
12. They both played exactly 12.
12.
Drake May, 3 wins and 12 starts. Jackson Dart, 4 wins and 12 starts. So I think the Giants, I know I've beat this to a pulp, but the Giants have a great left tackle. They're going to be very good at receiving core. They're going to have a pretty good quarterback. They're going to have a very deep backfield with Devin Singletary maybe being a number 3. We're going to have a great top 3 defensive line. And we just have to shore up that linebacking crew in that secondary. We're not very far off. I'm excited as a Giant fan. Probably the most excited I've been in a very long time. Even during the whole Eli Manning era, I'm never this excited in the offseason as I am for the Giants. But all right, back to Super Bowl talk.
Well, you were saying, who do you think is going to be here like next year? You're saying it's not that far off that the Giants could maybe put something together and turn this, like Seven Springs was saying, into a Drake May type season and get some
Jaguars, the Jaguars, the Texans, the Cowboys. The Eagles are still always scary. They might take a step
Dallas
back
is going to be drafting defense. They get us projected 2 defensive picks right away because obviously our offense is humming. And if we give money to Pickens, I'm just like, bro, we're just giving all our fucking money away to the wrong side of the ball. It sucks, man. We need team-friendly deals on the offense, and we need, all the money on our defense. And I feel like our window's just closing quicker and quicker right now. Dak's got a couple years left of this prime. I mean, I know there's got to be some kind of decisions being made. I don't think Jerry's ever going to trade him. It's just curious though. Like I think that the Eagles are not getting as good, right? They're not. I don't see them taking that step forward. The Commanders are probably going to be better. The Giants, I think, have the best turnaround in our division for sure.
Yeah,
I think that you're definitely the biggest turnaround in our division, clearly.
And we won't be, like the Patriots. They had a horrible schedule. They had a horrible record, so they had a very easy schedule.
You're gonna get
The difference is that we didn't think the Patriots division was going to be so weak, right?
We thought the Dolphins were going to be better.
Yep, and the Dolphins finished strong, but yeah, the Jets were, that was like two
abysmal.
The Bills they split with, right?
Right, and they were good. And this was Josh Allen's year, if not for some crazy.
There's a couple. You know what the play? I'll tell you the two plays that I like so far. I like under JSN 95.5. I just cannot imagine Vrabel letting JSN.
He had that by the first half last game.
Yeah. I think that they're going to take him away. And I also like over 21.5 Kenneth Walker receiving yards. Just like last year, I hung my hat on like the lock of the year and I told everybody to bet it. It was over 13.5 Saquon Barkley receiving yards. And they're like, oh, Saquon gets one catch every 2 games. I'm like, coaches in the Super Bowl play it safe early. Saquon Barkley had 2 catches on the first drive. He was -4 yards on the first drive, but he had 2 catches. And he ended up getting 40 receiving yards.
Sure.
Sam Darnold, we know he's been accused of seeing ghosts. He has bounced back, but Kenneth Walker, without Charbonnet on the field, will be getting over 21.5 receiving yards. That is a gift.
Yep.
Sean thinks that JSN is going to feast. But yeah, I think Kenneth Walker is a great Super Bowl MVP bet. I don't think the odds are as good as it should be on that. But I love Kenneth Walker over 21.5 receiving yards. I like JSN under. I like Shaheed over, right? Because all it takes is one pop with Shaheed. And
Green Eggs and Sam. I love it. That's pretty good. Haven't heard
that. I don't see a way where the Patriots hang in this game, but we'll see. Drake May has not looked good in the playoffs. He's been very sloppy.
So I think this is exactly kind of what the Patriots want, man. They're an underdog again. My same game parlays is funny. I kind of went on the Patriots side of this. I got 3-leg little Ramondre Stevenson anytime touchdown. Ramondre Stevenson over on his receiving at 22.5. Ramondre Stevenson over on catches at 3.5. I think that he's definitely going to be plugged in. He's been the clear better back. He always catches the ball at the line. Just a few days ago, they had him at 2.5 on catches. So I know that they're talking about getting him the ball. I think that's plus 439 for a little 3-leg same game. And I think Ramondre is definitely going to be a very compelling piece to this offense as they go ahead and continue to upset the Seahawks. The defense is going to be better than obviously what people have been giving them. I think that they give Darnold some problems. You were talking about Sam Darnold seeing ghosts. We're going to see which Sam Darnold shows up. Is he the grandson of Dick Hammer, or is he the Jets quarterback that was just so befuddled and confused in a pressure moment? He's obviously stepped up to the plate every time. I think that the Seahawks and Patriots throw down a hell of a game, but I do think the Patriots are being underplayed. I think they're going to win this game. I like Drake May actually, and I like Darnold and their passing yards. I think they both kind of throw the ball around a little bit.
I know it's a little interesting, right? Because we automatically assume Super Bowl as good weather, but it could be rainy that day. It's going to be
a slight chance, right?
Yeah, I think it's like 30-40%. And San Francisco's grass isn't always the best, right?
Sean, you can say seeing ghosts is overplayed, and yes, he's been incredible, but he still threw 4 picks against the Rams, and he's had these moments. It's about putting together when it matters most, and so far he has.
Yeah,
nobody's taken that away. And now you got one more game to do it. And if Sam Darnold comes out and throws 2 picks and loses 2 fumbles, it's going to be the same narrative. So it's either way. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I was just saying when it comes to bets, I think that he checks down a little early to Kenneth Walker, and I think Kenneth Walker, the over 21.5 so far is my favorite.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like it. I like what you got going on there, man. The line is at 45.5 on the game. Do you like that?
Yeah, I mean, the Patriots can't move the ball. So I've watched them, and either they have to luck box their way into the end zone or they have to be gifted points. You know what I mean? But their offense has not looked good. And as long as balls don't get tipped up into the receiver's hands for touchdowns or receivers don't make hero catches, I've seen a different Drake May over the last 4 weeks than we've seen the whole season. He was close to MVP.
You don't think he gets it?
I don't think Seattle lets him run around like they should. Tommy Steamer says that if Drake plays well, they win. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think Drake May has it in him to play good yet. I think Drake May, I've not been very impressed. You know, I think that Seattle takes away his legs.
I think it's kind of what Tom Brady says, man. I think that people have been and is equally as critical about Sam Darnold, even though he's had success, and they still talk about the what ifs. I feel like Drake May has not had the success through it, but nobody's really giving him credit for the tough wins. And it's like one of those things, like winning and grittiness and tenacity and situational awareness and all those things are a part of the journey and a part of the growth process. And to be a second-year QB and here in this moment with another opportunity to kind of vulture franchise back into relevance after a little bit of a break, and this is your 11th Super Bowl, the tied for or the most in NFL history for any franchise, and obviously all that came from the generation before you, but you kind of get to carry that torch in. I think that this is an opportunity for him to kind of come out and put it all behind him and have that good game. I mean, would you rather? I'm always about betting the ebbs and flows, and I think if somebody's putting out a couple of bad games after they've shown you that it's definitely within them, then I feel like I'm always betting on the side that's probably coming. You know what I mean? He's probably going to have a good game. And then the same thing, Sam Darnold's been so hot, I would almost bet the lean on that. He's probably going to have a less game. This game is the way I think.
It's good for Drake May. Everyone forgets Tom Brady didn't light the world on fire when he was a quarterback early on in the first couple Super Bowls. But yeah, I agree, Sean. It's Drake May has almost cost him games in the playoffs, and the Patriots defense and the Vrabel mindset has kind of let them sneak through. You can only play who you play, but obviously Stidham let his team down big time, right?
Opening touchdown, you can't score again. That's so bad.
You're a backup quarterback and you let your team down, which that's
with
fine.
The lead in Denver.
Yeah, that was one of the worst decisions I've ever seen it make. Knowing the blizzard's coming, you go up 2 possessions at home when the blizzard's coming. But and then they had to play the Chargers with just such a banged up offensive line. Herbert had no time to throw. But I think it all comes to a crashing halt now, but I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's close. I want to see a good game.
I think it's going to be a hell of a game. I don't think
Gene likes to under, so I recommend everybody hammer in the over. And I
like the way Sean said it. He says Seattle's buttoned up 30. Patriots got to score 16. Like, I mean, that makes sense,
Yeah. I think that Seattle's offense, they play very very downhill, Kenneth Walker, I see why everybody is so high on him in fantasy because I was not high
I love Kenneth Walker, dude. I had him a couple years ago.
He is just an elite athlete that doesn't get elite stats. You know what I mean? Like, he's literally one of those guys that
So Charbonnet out for the beginning of next year. Does that immediately vault him into like a couple rounds higher?
I think so. I think he's a 3rd or 4th round pick just because.
I mean, no matter what, I feel like Charbonnet's not going to be a thing until later next year anyways, until he's kind of like.
It was so funny. I told Santos this, and then I heard it on the radio from 2 other people on the radio. Charbonnet being hurt hurts the Patriots and helps the Seahawks. Because now Kenneth Walker is just on the field more. Charbonnet, to me, is a very big back kind of pedestrian guy. Doesn't like the world on fire, in my opinion. Kenneth Walker is that dude. And now, with Kenneth Walker being on the field almost every play, you know what I mean? Like, throughout the playoffs, it hurt the Seahawks that Charbonnet wasn't there because you want to keep Kenneth Walker healthy. But now, Seattle, this is the last game of the year. Kenneth Walker is not stepping off that field unless he gets hurt. That kind of like almost hurts the Patriots in a way. See what I'm trying to say? And as
I see what you mean. I still think they're going to miss him in some of that short yardage situation. And I think that if it really does come down to like your boy simulated, and it's a 1 or a 2 yard play and it's Kenneth Walker, I would rather have Charbonnet taking that plunge than Kenneth Walker personally. Obviously the 12 touchdowns throughout the year show that, and he's a goal line specialist. And I think he's always way more powerful than what people give him credit for. And I mean, if you're looking at like the whole Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier combo, like it has like the essence of that, where, you know, Kenneth Walker kind of plays the Bijan, Charbonnet is kind of that Algier. But I think Charbonnet is better than Algier. And I think Charbonnet is not that much of a step down. Now, the explosiveness and the speed of Kenneth Walker is obviously what you talk about. And that pop, Kenneth Walker can take 160. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I've seen Charbonnet do it, but it's obviously it requires more blocking. It's not the one jump cut and he's out. I will say that I think they miss Charbonnet. And there was a question I think Gene asked. I think Charbonnet is still draftable next year for sure. He's just going to be a late round pick.
No, but yeah,
he's just going to be late, and you know he's going to be coming back. So you're going to be kind of planning for the injury. I don't always like drafting players that are injured either, that you're playing for the end of the year, but it depends on how your team looks. If you can take a shot like that and draft a dude who's on the mend, then so be it, because you can, if he's on your IR, you can stash him and then hold him. You're just hoping that nobody else in your team gets injured to where you have to lose an IR spot and you waste the draft position.
So you got to always keep in mind when you're drafting an RB2, what is the mentality of the team, right?
Sure.
Seattle's mentality is Kenneth Walker is one of the best running backs in the NFL, but he can't always stay healthy. We're using Charbonnet to spell Kenneth Walker and to keep Kenneth Walker healthy so he can play like he's been playing in the postseason.
This game. This is why you want him. You always say you want Kenneth Walker for the playoffs. Here he is in the Super Bowl. Yeah. Fuck you, Charbonnet. Thank you so much.
Charbonnet, if he comes back healthy, yeah, he's draftable, because also Kenneth Walker very rarely stays healthy. So Charbonnet is a top 15, 20 running back when Kenneth Walker's hurt. And Seattle uses Charbonnet, but this is the Super Bowl. And if Charbonnet was even healthy, he'd barely be on the field.
You really think so? I think he would be on the field way more.
But for what? For what? Kenneth Walker's better than him in everything. But
not pass blocking, they were just saying too, right?
Yeah, maybe not pass blocking, but who cares? I mean, Kenneth Walker is such a beast.
No, I mean, I agree, TJ. I'm just saying, like, the reason why we haven't seen only Kenneth Walker for the last few years is because obviously Charbonnet is good enough to take the fucking shine.
Yeah, I'm looking up right now, but I don't know when.
I know it's such a good conversation to have because a lot of people feel the way I do about Kenneth Walker. And I've always like looked at Charbonnet as just like a thorn in my side, as somebody who stands in the way from a clear path to a league winner, because that's the kind of upside that Walker has, is league winning potential. The dude is a beast. Now he has been hurt and it has taken some tread off the tires. And it's more imperative now to have a Charbonnet than ever, because he is a dude who you do worry about the health concern. I will say Charbonnet is better than what people give credit for. His yard per clip, his yards after contact, like all of that is top level shit in NFL running back stats. Yeah. I think that they miss him. I do. I think they miss him. And Kenneth Walker, he's not as big. And if the Patriots run defense, which has been kind of meddling, right? It was like in the middle of the year, I think it was like 18th or something, and it kind of stepped up late. I think it's more indicative. They didn't allow any 50-yard rushers, blah, blah, blah. That's the schedule. Now you're playing a team who runs the ball, and they run the ball really well. They're one of the top rushing teams. So I think you're going to get a true litmus test of what that run defense really looks like for New England and what Kenneth Walker's really going to look like for Seattle. This is like, because it's kind of shrouded because you've had Charbonnet a little bit mucking it up and you've had a weak schedule mucking it up. Now you get to see push versus push. And I'm excited, dude. I think that he's a little bit smaller, you know?
Yeah. I agree. I guess I agree. I don't know.
I mean, it's all for us to sit there. What is this? You damn right I got the Earl Campbell jersey. I got a picture with Earl Campbell when I was a kid. You know, I'm only a Cowboys fan because they sold the Houston Oilers. If they would have never sold the Oilers, I'd still be an Oilers fan. Crazy, man. Bum Phillips, Houston Oilers, #1. I swear the Dolphins stole our song, whatever.
You know what's also, I thought, a low over-under, and I want to hear Sean's take on this. Sam Darnold, over 6.5 rushing yards. I don't know. I see Sam Darnold, like, getting out of the pocket and, like, for the Super Bowl, putting his head down, right? And, I mean, I guess
I see Sam Darnold having, like, a John Elway moment and, like, taking one into the end zone for an anytime, getting hit, flipping over, and just, like, that's his crowning moment if that's how Sam Darnold wins it, you know?
You know what I was thinking about? It's like a random thought, but I was thinking about this the other day. Who do you think, if they ban the tush push, who do you think that hurts the most? Like, what teams? Because I think the reason why the Bills want to ban the tush push so bad is because Josh Allen doesn't need the tush push. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like,
they can sit there and QB sneak from 2 or 3 yards, and he's going to get it for you every time.
A tush push doesn't mean QB sneak. So, like, Jalen Hurts, if they ban the tush push, I think the Eagles benefit from that. Because guess what? They could still Jalen Hurts squat 600 pounds. They could just run it right at him. You just can't have someone come up behind him and push him. But Josh Allen's the same way because he's so strong and big. He just moves the pile. Now, yeah, that Jaguars play was like the definition of like cheating on a tush push, right? Because they just literally carried him. But I think that the Eagles and the Bills would benefit the most if they ban it because they will still be successful at short yard.
They have two capable quarterbacks that can get the weight of that on their legs.
Where, right? Like, I was looking at the most successful tush. Green Bay's really good at it too. I think Jordan Love is a benefit of the tush push. Would not be as successful as a QB sneaker, but Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen would actually benefit. I think if the NFL banned it, they could just Jalen Hurts like I squat 600 pounds. I'm gonna get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah, Warren Moon was my favorite quarterback as a kid. Our producer says he was fun to watch. It was that offense. It was that, you know, a little bit ahead of its time. Spread them out.
And light it up, air it out, bro. Like throwing moon balls, literally.
Yeah. I know we talked about this on like a couple shows ago, but I think Mendoza is going to be an amazing NFL.
So, all right, let's go ahead and segue into that. You got Clint Kubiak. He's rumored to go to the Raiders.
Yeah.
He's coming out of the Super Bowl. He said he's totally focused with Seattle. He's coming out of that, and he's probably going. Tom Brady's obviously trying to land him. They're landing Mendoza. They'll have Genti. They'll have Bowers, right?
Yeah.
That's like something there. That's a little bit of what you got going on. Super tough division. Broncos, obviously, no Bo Nix. Mahomes and them pissed off and let down. And then you got the Chargers who just put up how many points? 3 points against the Patriots. It was definitely a bad look for that division, the way they fizzled out. So, I mean, the Raiders are going in there. It sounds like they're about to trade Max Crosby. I know my Dallas Cowboys are in rumors and cahoots with potentially landing or Crosby, which I'm not like super. I'm like, it'd be cool. Sure. I just feel like, I don't know, man. Are we going to get Crosby for 18 games? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Guy's always, he's like, he reminds me of like a TJ Watt. He's unstoppable when he's healthy. It's just, can you keep him on the field kind of thing?
I think, and I'm wondering what like Sean and Zandy, Tommy Abreu, listen, I think Mendoza, like I'll just keep on looking at all these plays that he made. He had no receivers that could run over like a 4.7 40, right? He's 6'5", 225. He's tough as nails. They say he processes information really quick. He learns fast. We saw in the national championship game, to me, I want to see if a guy could throw to the far sideline in college, like 8-yard stops, 10-yard stops. Those throws are really hard to make. That's kind of the only way Indiana moved the ball down the field early on. Miami Hurricanes are playing pretty far back, I think, trying to play for the back shoulder fade. And then he was just throwing like, I think me and you talked about it. Those are 10-yard throws, but they're really like 30-yard throws.
Oh, yeah, for
when
sure.
You're throwing to the far sideline. I don't really see a weakness in Mendoza's game. The only weakness
I thought his back shoulders were clean, bro. That guy was on, and if you're gonna hit back shoulders, that's really one of the only ways to move the ball in the NFL on a proper man defense. And you got to hit your back shoulders, and he was all over that shit.
And he might not light the world on fire the first year because that team is so bad. But there's a Genty and Bowers, and maybe they make a move to go. I don't know what they do early on, but I think Mendoza in his career is going to be looked upon as like a, I think, I don't want to say a Pro Bowl quarterback anymore. Oh yeah, on that Pro Bowl thing too. Supposedly the Browns owner is pissed because he has to pay roster bonuses to Shedeur Sanders and Joe Flacco for making the Pro Bowl.
Oh, that's so good.
Because Joe Flacco started with the Browns, and so he has to pay 2 roster bonuses. And not like he's fighting it, but word on the street is he's fucking pissed that he's got to fork out. It's like $1.75 million, I think, that he's got to pay for the roster Pro Bowl bonuses.
Yeah, also, I mean, that could have been to Deshaun Watson. Could have just burned that money, It's so stupid.
That's what Watson made in a quarter, I think.
So fucking bad.
Yeah, what do you
do?
So
they have 2 Pro Bowl quarterbacks in Cleveland.
Yeah, and it was 3. It was 3. Because they had, but Flacco got traded, obviously. No, it doesn't go against the Cat, Sandy. But what do you do if you're the Browns? Like, do you hope maybe you catch lightning in a bottle with Watson and maybe just him and Stefanski didn't see eye to eye? Because, I don't know. I think Watson has totally lost it. But there has to be somebody that thinks that he has not lost it, right? I mean, he was that good.
The Jets? Are we going to see Deshaun Watson in the Jets uniform? Let's go, Gene. Deshaun Watson to the Jets.
I guess you can't say he's untradeable because you could trade him and not have to pay his roster.
I'm just saying, who else needs him? Nobody. I mean, Miami would rather take Ewers.
I'm pretty sure Watson will be the starter going into camp next year. I'm pretty sure. With Shedeur and him like neck and neck.
No way. You really think that's your call?
I don't know. I also saw Monken.
I think you got to go Shedeur, right? You got to put Shedeur out there. And you got to turn the page.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but
I mean, what we saw of Watson, he was cooked, and then he got hurt again. But he was cooked even with his samples.
Yeah, they were kind of saying. Sean says Watson starts week 1.
Sean agrees with you. I mean, I guess
I kind of think so.
I couldn't see if you're gonna be. If you're really trying to win games in the NFL, you can't go out there and start Deshaun Watson after you just. I mean, Shedeur can clearly throw the ball, and you got some decent weapons. I mean, you don't get Judkins back, but Fannin and
they have.
Shoku will be back, and
it was interesting.
They need to be running twin tight end sets, some receivers out there.
Yeah, they had the video of Shedeur coming into the Cleveland Cleveland like office building, whatever you want to call it, and him meeting Monken for the first time, right? So Todd Monken's in his office and he stands up. Shedeur Sanders is walking in and they're recording Shedeur Sanders walking to the office. He shakes Monken's hand. And you know what Monken said to him? I thought it was so funny. He goes, "We tried to draft you last year, buddy. Well, you said you weren't going to come play with us." Because remember, the Ravens wanted to draft Shedeur, and Shedeur goes, "I don't want to go to you guys because I want to at least be able to compete for a starting job," which,
Lamar Jackson was hurt. He would have been starting in the Ravens, and who knows what that looks like.
I know. Shador Sanders wasn't great this year, but at least he showed signs that he could throw the ball down the field. And nobody was good in that offense, not even Joe Flacco, not even so. But I've kind of always been on that vibe that Shador could play in the NFL. But after watching this year, I don't know. Something doesn't look right. I think that he'll probably be a backup for a while, but I don't think that.
Had a flat in the Browns parking lot, bought a new car for a security person who helped him out.
Yeah, I mean,
we're not talking that he's a piece of shit or anything. That's dope. That's the right thing to do.
No, but that is a cool story if that's the case.
Cool story.
I love that. I love when these people give back and
so
they know
you think Shador's
like
going to be a backup? I think that he showed that he's got enough pop. He's got arm. He can make the sideline throws. He can air the ball out. Sneaky mobility, right? If he stays healthy, I think he can be
sneaky mobility.
I think he can be a serviceable quarterback, and I think it does having a Munkin there. I mean, if you're Todd Munkin, are you looking at a washed up Deshaun Watson, who you're like the bane, like the laughing stock of the NFL? He was probably making fun of him for the last couple of years, and now you got to coach him. Or are you going to take the Shador, who's like young, moldable, and who's like got the potential to put fucking fans in the stands? You know what I mean? Like, people are going to come see Shador.
Oh, they said that during the Pro Bowl. I guess they had a Pro Bowl press conference, and there was reporters lined up waiting to talk to Shador. Isn't that kind of interesting? Yeah. Like, he's a polarizing guy.
And that's why I just think that he's definitely like the more polarizing figure. And I just hope that the Browns play it the right way. I don't care what they do if they get to the right result. I don't care if you test out Deshaun Watson and you work him out and that gives him a job, something somewhere else along the line, and you get some return. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, obviously, you got to go run him out there and show the NFL that he's still got some juice. Just come to the decision in a reasonable manner, because the way that the Browns went through the quarterback carousel last year was atrocious. It was an embarrassment, and it was fucking awful. You know what I mean? Like, Stefanski was an absolute idiot with the way he handled his roster. And here he goes with another head coaching job, whatever. And maybe it's personal. Maybe it was business. Either way, the egg's on their face. They didn't look it. And the whole shit got blown up. You know what I mean? 2-time coach of the year to fucking martyr.
A lot of people thought it was interesting. First of all, I don't know if you heard this about the Browns, but the Browns were interviewing head coaches, and they were sending these head coach interviewees, whatever you want to call them, home with homework, like deep homework on personality tests and all this stuff. So a lot of people were very turned off by the Cleveland Browns hiring process, right?
Yeah, they're not even an illustrious franchise. They're not a rich franchise.
They're also saying they're surprised they brought in Munkin, because Munkin is a little older, right? And does he connect with guys like Shador?
Do you think Mike LaFleur would have been a better fit, just being like the young dude who's going to go over there? And he's taking over for Arizona now, and he's Matt LaFleur's little brother, and he's that young offensive mind that you want. Do you think he would be a better fit?
Yeah, I don't know much about him. I just think people were surprised. But now they're saying that the reason why they hired Munkin is because nobody else would take the job. So it wasn't like they're trying to hire people, but they're like, they sent these coaches home with homework, and a lot of coaches just said, fuck off, I'm not doing this,
Who do you think has a better job, Arizona or Cleveland?
Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty
kind of tough, right?
You could argue that
they got pieces.
You could argue Cleveland has a great pass rusher, right? Maybe the best in NFL history, or probably the best in NFL history.
They have a built defense.
Yeah, they have a built-in defense. They have a great fan base that isn't expecting much.
They got a future running back, and they got a future tight end.
They got good tight ends, decent offensive line, Quinshon Judkins. Yeah, I would say Cleveland. Listen to this, ready? Cleveland drafted Baker Mayfield. I was just thinking about, because I remember the year that Baker, Saquon, and Sam Darnold, right? They went 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Right? Do you know who else was drafted in that draft class?
God, yeah,
Josh Allen.
Names. Yeah, Josh
Allen went 7th. Josh Rosen went 10th. Lamar Jackson went 32nd last pick in the first round.
I just see all those funny reels about the animated Sam Darnold going around to all the quarterbacks' house telling them that he made a Super Bowl before them.
Yeah, that's
so
funny.
good.
Yeah.
Such a troll, and everyone's like, "We don't care. We got paid." Da da da. Yeah. No, yeah, he beat a lot of phenomenal. I mean, potential Hall of Famers, right? Like you're talking dudes.
Also, is Mac Jones going to kind of fall into that same? Now, I don't think Mac Jones had the raw physical tools that Sam Darnold had. So I don't think that's a fair comparison. But does Mac Jones kind of,
as long as Mac Jones brings Kendrick Bourne with him anywhere he goes, he'll be just fine. Right? He's got that connection with Kendrick Bourne, bro.
Yeah. So does Mac Jones, where does Mac Jones go, right? Like if you're the Vikings, man, I think the Vikings need to bring somebody in. I'm tired of this.
You heard what Justin Jefferson said, right? He goes, "Yeah, we would have been better if we would have kept Sam."
Yeah, but isn't that a loaded question too, though, right?
Such a loaded question. I'm like, of course he's gonna say that because you weren't. You won 14 games with him, you know?
Yeah.
Do you think there's anything that's incongruency that Jefferson and JSN both have like career years and it's Sam Darnold as the quarterback?
Yeah, I don't think that's a fluke. And also, if you're a team, right? Do you stick with this vision? Okay, if you're as a Giant fan, I want Jackson Dart as my starting quarterback, but I want Jameis Winston right there, and I want Harbaugh to say, "No one is handed the starting quarterback job." I hate how Daboll. The one thing I would ask Daboll is, you knew your coaching life on the line, right? And you have proven you can win in New York. Why would you anoint Russell Wilson or appoint, whatever that word is?
That didn't make a lot of sense, right? That didn't make a lot of sense.
In June, he said, or July, whatever it was, Russell Wilson is the starting quarterback. Why would you think that?
Do you think you would do that because Russell Wilson is so soft in the head that he needed to know that he was that name starter to have that confidence?
Oh, I 100% think that's why I did it.
That had to be it, right? Because Russell's stepping in like he's the man. I'm coming. I'm the quarterback. I'm the guy. Like that's that gives him that swag, right?
Yeah, like if I'm the Vikings, I think Aaron Rodgers would be an amazing fit. And I think Rodgers could be thinking, man, maybe if I go to Minnesota and play 12 or 13 of my games indoors, still get to see Green Bay twice a year, right? With all those weapons, I think if I'm Rodgers,
who you own,
and if you're the Vikings, I tell Rodgers, hey, do you want to come? Why don't you come in and try to win this starting job? We're not going to give it to you. It's going to be you and McCarthy. But wink, wink. I think we all know you're going to win it, but we're not going to make you the starter. Just like the Giants, I want to bring Winston and Jackson Dart back. And everyone's like, that's going to mess with the psychology of Jackson Dart. If I'm Harbaugh, I would say, I don't give a fuck. Nobody is going to be handed anything in this building. You have to go get it. I think that's a great culture to create. The whole quarterback vibe is very weird. I feel bad for people in college who have to go through it and to go in the pros, right? Because if you're a receiver, you can be 1, 2, 3, or 4 and get on the field. As a quarterback, there's only one. It's the only really position in sports like that. If you're not a great third baseman and you get beat out, you go to first base or DH.
Or second. They rotate you around.
If you're a first baseman, you get beat out, you could be a DH pinch hitter. Quarterback, you got to win the job or lose a job. It's very tricky. I'm very sympathetic to that type of, sports psychology. But I think that the whole vibe changed in New York, and I just can't believe Daboll hung his career on Russell Wilson before watching him play with the team in person.
Do you think that's Daboll's last head coaching opportunity?
No,
I don't think so either.
I think he gets another chance.
I think what he showed with Danny Dimes and the win against Minnesota and that run will still be spoken about for the next few years. I think there is still that potential there, what he did with that team. And obviously you gotta catch lightning in a bottle a couple times,
Yeah. Now Sean says, I think the Jets should trade for Mac Jones. I know the thing with the Jet. Well, yeah. Okay. So you go get a Mac Jones. You have a 24, 25-year-old Breece Hall. He'll be just turning 25 right when you get him. So
priming. Yeah.
Yep. You have Garrett Wilson will be back healthy, right?
Definitely healthy. He could have played at the end of this year, but obviously no reason.
Yeah, no reason. Now, this is the thing. If you're the Jets, you don't want to bring Mac Jones in to win you 7 games and to get you the 14th pick, right? You'd rather just kind of tank maybe one more year and kind of do what the Giants did a little bit, right? To guarantee that you can get more draft picks. I think Mac Jones would be a good fit in Atlanta. Have him battle up against Penix. I just wonder what teams are going to just hand their guy the starting job and what team is going to be like, hey, we got to kind of hit the reset button. And you might be really good, but we need to,
All right. You want to go through a division and do that? So you just said Atlanta. So that's Penix. You could fight there. Baker's got the job. What
Baker's
about Bryce
fighting.
Young in Carolina? Is he being handed the future? I'd say yeah, right?
Yeah. And I think a big part of that is money, right? Is the money aspect.
Right, because you got to build on a young quarterback. So there goes the South. You got the North, right? You got Caleb, that's his job. McCarthy, he could fight, right? You got all right. So there's those two. That's Jordan Love's job.
Yep, right? I heard Malik Willis is already in Miami. He's going to be
right. Malik Willis is going to be one of the sexiest quarterbacks, if not the number one quarterback prospect that I've heard talked about. And then the last team is Jared Goff and the Lions. That's his job. And then you go out west. Obviously, Darnold's doing something here. And Arizona, Kyler Murray needs to be pushed.
Mac Jones would be a great fit in Arizona.
So there's a little potential.
I mean,
you got the Rams. You're waiting on Stafford, so that's not happening. And then you got the Niners, and that looks like that's going to be Purdy's job. So there goes the NFC, right?
Yeah. So Mac Jones to the Arizona would be very interesting. I think that.
Do you like him in the NFC over the AFC too, or do you not really care about that? You like,
I don't care about that. I wonder.
Mac Jones against the Niners too, right? Because he was just playing for him. Kind of works out.
Yeah.
Might be good for a split. Stuff. Either way, Mac Jones, what you're saying, it sounds like Malik Willis, number one. Mac Jones, number two.
Yeah.
Like his free agent quarterback style. Somebody's got to make a move and push these other young quarterbacks.
I'm really curious. I'm really curious to see what Minnesota's going to do because we've seen
Mac Jones goes to Denver because of Stidham had his opportunity, and now they keep Stidham.
Because
you wait for Bo Nix.
Yeah, and Bo Nix broke his ankle, so he'll be back in time, right? That's not a. I think Mac Jones will not leave San Francisco for a backup job. Now I think Mac Jones will leave San Francisco for a job he can compete for, but he's not. Bo Nix is the guy there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Arizona, Minnesota.
I was just going through in the AFC. I was going through the AFC. You're not giving it to. Do you push CJ Stroud? You have Cam Ward with the Titans. You have Daniel Jones with the Colts.
And I think Mills has done.
And then you got Jaguars. I don't know. Mills could push him, right? He could definitely push him. So instead of giving that job to CJ Stroud, you say we're not sure about the starting job. Those 10 turnovers that CJ put up at the end of the last year puts it in question. Davis has a shot to go win that job, right?
Good Lord. If Mixon comes back healthy next year with Tank Dell, Houston's going to be absolutely scared. Yeah, what are the Steelers? That's kind of a mess over there.
Do you like the McCarthy Aaron Rodgers combo? Do you think there's a little rekindled romance, or is this just situational?
Yeah, I don't know.
Serendipity to where they just happen to end up there, and this is oh, hey, you're here. Me, I'm still here. That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's good to see you.
I don't know what they're gonna do with that. I really don't know. Do they maybe? Yeah,
you won one Super Bowl, and you had Aaron Rodgers in his fucking prime, and the team you beat is the team you're coaching for.
Yeah, and also I don't think McCarthy's over high rating. He seems like a good guy. He seems like he knows football, and it seems like he brings consistency to the table, but he's not going to be that innovative, light the world on fire, smartest guy in the room kind of thing.
This is their fourth coach in history. They had all those other coaches from pretty much what was it? Noel from 66 and to Coward, and then Coward to Tomlin, and then Tomlin to McCarthy. McCarthy, how long does he stay a coach for? 5 years plus? Do they give him 10 years? He's 60.
No way.
He can coach until he's 70.
Is he 60? Yeah, I would give
He's
him like
60.
5-ish years. I thought that
Because in Pittsburgh, you don't get fired. You choose to walk away. So it's McCarthy gets 5 years and then he walks away. Do they have like 5 coaches in the next 10 years, or do they have like 2 in the next 10?
I thought Flores was the perfect fit for them, and I was like convinced that he was going to be there. You know what I mean? I understand if you don't want just the same exact guy as Tomlin, but didn't you think like Flores is like he's kind of tough?
I thought,
and he's,
it's a hot topic right now, and it is what it is. But Robert Salah he's Lebanese. He's the only minority candidate that was hired out of 9 head coaches, and it definitely could have been Brian Flores. He should have been one of them. The system is broken. There's a problem with the pipeline. You shouldn't have these very well-deserving coaches getting looked over. Obviously, there's all these new OCs, DCs. These head coaches are just fucking such a mess, man. I don't know why that Flores would. I thought Flores would be a great fit there.
Yeah, but I don't really want to. Yeah, I'm scared to go down the race thing.
No. It's not even about them.
Scared, and I'm not scared because I don't want to talk about it. I don't think anyone got passed over because of race. And I don't think it's a problem in the NFL. I don't think it's a problem anywhere. You know what I mean? I just think that
I'm with you. You see storylines.
I just thought that Flores
to be a coincidental thing that's going on.
I thought Flores was for so long the Steelers. I thought because it's like a defensive minded, tough kind of, and it seems like Brian Flores is way ahead of the curve when it comes to coaching defense. And I just thought that with all those weapons there, Brian Flores would find a way to get the best out of Watt and Ramsey. And those guys are kind of aging a little bit, but
I thought he got jobbed so bad in Miami. I was really looking forward to him like getting that next opportunity and going and leading a team,
He's
big fan of his, man. I would love him to be involved in Dallas's defense, that's for sure.
Wu-Tang says definitely a problem in the NFL. Black head coaches are more likely to be one and done.
I mean, obviously you're looking at the cycle and all you can do is just take whatever they did and move on to next year.
Tomlin was there for a while and
20 years.
Yeah. I think, I don't know. It's, I'm trying to think of back to the Brian Flores. I thought that maybe Brian Flores was too much like a Tomlin. Tomlin's kind of defensive minded. Maybe they kind of wanted to do a shakeup. McCarthy is known as an offensive guy. I just thought the McCarthy hire was like the unsexiest hire ever. I thought Brian Flores would have came in and kind of given them some juice,
mediocre Mike to mediocre Mike. You know what I mean? And like, I definitely would have thought that team would have played up for Flores, man. That's tough, dude. But whatever. I don't like the Steelers, so I could give a shit. I hope Rob just makes his bed with Mike, and I hope the Steelers have 10 coaches in 10 years. I don't give one damn.
Yeah, because like Rodgers hasn't came out and said anything yet, but what do they do? I'm assuming Rodgers says he's not coming back to Pittsburgh. I'm going to assume that.
Sure.
So what do you do then?
I feel like Rodgers is looking for the Tom Brady setup. Like, where's a team that's got a defense and an offense and they just need a QB, right? Like, that's what he's looking for. That's what he thought the Steelers had. And then they went and traded Pickens and like, oh my God, bro.
In the last 10 years, one and done coaches for 50% of the firings, yet only 15% of head coaches in the NFL are black.
Last 10 years, the one and done coaches were 50% of the firings. Sure, yeah. Yeah, only 15% of the head coaches in the NFL are black over that time span. I mean, yeah, you have, like we talked about, who was it, Gerard Mayo last year. Like, I don't think he got fired because of his inefficiencies. He just got fired because there's a better position for Vrabel to come in, and everybody knows.
Yeah, I think
like, you know what I mean? There's like that. Gerard Mayo was a one and done, right? Just as an example, I think. Yeah, and I even said, I think Gerard Mayo should be put out there because I think he's responsible for some of these groceries. I mean, if you look at the Patriots makeup, they got like 15 free agents this year. That's a front office job. I mean, they had to go and add a lot of these groceries and this and that, but they still, from their drafted personnel, like that is some of that you could give credit,
I think I think the Aaron Glenn thing is a freaking mess. Like we talked about how he didn't get one interception all year. Then every assistant coach,
and he's a defensive coach still, right? Isn't he a defensive coach?
And he was defensive back.
He was a quarterback coach or something like.
Yeah, corner. Yeah,
Right.
and also all of his assistant coaches, every single one that he brought with him, he fired this year. So like, it's a big mess. It looks like a lack of direction, and yeah, and they changed all the assistants. I mean, Roger Goodell brought up the Rooney Rule the other day. I think it was yesterday. Caught a little bit of hype. I think that, I don't really have much to say about it, but I do think that over the years, it's just going to be a wave that we kind of see. And they let go of the offensive coordinator too late, missing out on some good candidates. Yeah, the Jets are a freaking mess. They have a good running back and they have a good receiver, but as we know, that just doesn't cut it anymore.
All right. So before we tie the bow on it, a couple other things. We went over the whole Rooney Rule thing. You heard about the Giants owner, Miss Steve Tisch?
Mentioned
440 times in the Epstein list right there as a Giants fan and participant there. I figure we'll let you take the mic on this.
No, yeah. I mean, as a Giant fan, didn't really bother me at all because we all know Epstein's not a good guy, but this is why
he said he had some regrettable association with him. That's about the right thing to say.
Our government did not want to release this out to the public because you're going to be guilty by association. How many times have we gone to parties where we know illegal things are happening at the party?
Sure.
And you're not associated with that. And not only are we not doing it, we don't even know what's going on until later on, right? So, because Tisch has, and I haven't read every single thing about it, but
it's 350 million pages. I mean, you can't.
You're literally guilty just because it's a very slippery slope to release some of these things. And I think that's why they did not want anyone to really know about it, because the way social media is, you can crush someone's reputation like that from a one sentence thing. Tisch was communicating heavily with Epstein over a 5-year span.
We grew up with the whole philosophy, you are who you hang out with, guilty by association. And these are the things that come along with this as a franchise owner in the NFL, bringing some unwanted light to the league. This is not an association that you want. You just deal with it. You move on. Hopefully everything's good.
I was the first one. I didn't know that. I'm watching the show, The First 48, like 10 years ago when it first came out, 15 years ago. And this guy picked up his friend. His friend goes, "Can you drop me off at the gas station? I want to grab a Gatorade. Just wait outside." He goes, "Sure." Drops in. The guy robs the 7-Eleven, shoots the cashier, gets out. They drive off. That driver got accused of capital murder. See what I'm trying to say?
Right. He had no idea what happened.
He had no idea, but you are who you hang out with. You got to be very careful about that. And I understand that. Woody Johnson was mentioned as well. I just think that there are some big, powerful names that Epstein talked to, and a lot of these people didn't know. Now, you could argue they probably knew and didn't say anything. That is dicey territory. I agree. If you knew he was doing this to young women and you didn't say anything, that's a horrible thing. I'm not saying that. I have a feeling that some people are like, "Oh, Epstein kind of likes those younger ones." Yeah, he likes them, 18, 19, 20, but he isn't dumb enough to, you know what I mean? Take girls that are 14, 15, and 16. I have a feeling those conversations were how that went down. But that's a very slippery slope. And I don't know much about Tisch, to be honest with you, but I'm assuming he's been married. And I'm assuming that a lot of these conversations did not happen when he was single because of how old he is and how rich he is. Right. So did his wife know or already know, or is she finding out now? I'm assuming that maybe.
Right. So something else, moving on to the NFL has announced new contracts with Germany, Spain, and now we have our France game, and the Saints will be hosting our first NFL France in Paris next year.
fits right.
Cool.
Obviously,
Right? I think
the French quarters.
Yep, you got them. They got the French Connection, the Fleur de Lis, the whole thing. I think that the NFL is definitely going to plan a team over there in Europe and have them come across, and they're trying to do one team over there. People are saying it's the Jags or whatever. I don't know what they're really doing in the future, but it's definitely opening up. And every one of those NFL games in Europe is sold out. Those stadiums are always full.
I'm excited for the Saints. Their defense was pretty tough.
Kellen Moore was leading them. Tyler Shug is obviously the truth.
I think they found a quarterback for the future, and they found one that nobody thought that guy would be the guy. I don't think.
All right, so here's a fun question. Where do you put Olave next year?
Oh, I think he's a top.
He's a top guy.
He's probably a second.
I think he probably goes
second
or third, right? And I think he's a value no matter where you get him, because I think he's clearly.
I'm not going to say he's going to be the JSN of this year, right? But I could see if he's like fully healthy with this quarterback. I'm taking Olave is a guy I never drafted in anything. I'm talking about.
I know, me neither.
I probably played 100 best balls, and in 5 to 6 to 8 fantasy leagues. Never drafted Olave, but Olave is on my radar now. And if he was there late in the second round,
I'd be jumping all over him.
What were his stats this year?
If I were to guess, because I have not looked at all,
you're real.
I would say he probably caught 1,200, 8 touchdowns, and 90 catches.
You're amazing, bro. 100 catches, 1,163 yards, and 9 touchdowns.
Right there.
That was some amazing guesses right there. I would not have been that close. I'm trying to see how many games.
I mean, he was just all over it all year long, and he had such a big finish, dude. He was like getting people through the playoffs and winning championships on rosters. Olave went nuts, dude. An Ohio State product, right? Isn't he Ohio State?
Yeah, that was 16 games. Yeah, he is Ohio State. Yeah, so that was 16 games. So he only missed one.
That's a beast year with the Saints offense. And they were like, don't forget, the Patriots barely beat the Saints. I think that when you look back at a lot of those games that the Saints played, they lost some really close games. They
had the Bills on the ropes too.
They had the Bills on the. I mean, bro, they were there, man.
Yeah,
they really were. They were right there, and I think you got to look at that offense continue. I wonder what happens with Devin Harris next year, because Kamara is just like, he's done, bro.
Yeah, that's a guy I'm not excited for, but yeah, I don't know what happened with him. I don't understand.
I think that your lack of game-breaking speed finally catches up to you when you just don't have a good scheme around him. And I mean, he just hasn't been able to stay healthy.
I always thought Kamara was like a game breaker.
Right. He's just a check down guy. And I feel like he couldn't even.
I kind of always break out Kamara in like the Jahmyr Gibbs category.
Look up Kamara's stats this year. Look up his stats this year.
Yeah.
Like what did Kamara run? Like, I'm going to say he ran 350, had 40 catches with like 220 yards.
He had 131 carries for 471 yards.
How many catches?
He had 33 catches for 186 yards. Yeah.
That's bad.
He barely had 600 total yards.
Bro, he was going in the 3rd round, 4th round as like a league winner. Everyone thought Kamara was going to get all of this work this year, and he was one of the biggest busts in the entire season, dude.
He had 1 touchdown.
That's awful.
That's bad.
From a guy who was just a couple years ago putting 6 TDs into the that's all in championship week too, bro. It's crazy. But yeah, man, is there anything else that you want to go over?
No, man.
You got a good Super Bowl moment? Tell me one good Super Bowl moment before we peace
yeah. Actually, I have a fun Super Bowl story. It's a personal story, but it's fun. I've been to one.
Easy, bro. He's mad because he drafted Kamara.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
If he didn't draft him, I was going to draft him because I thought Kamara was going to have a bounce back year. But yeah, I was at Tom Brady's first Super Bowl. My dad owned restaurants at the time, and one of his friends got him Super Bowl tickets. So he calls me up on Friday. He goes, "Can you get off work this weekend?" I knew exactly what he meant. I was going to UCF at the time. I had a restaurant job. I got off work. We flew to New Orleans. keep in mind, this was the year of 9/11, right? Tom Brady's first Super Bowl. So the Super Bowl was in New Orleans. Every time there's a Super Bowl in New Orleans, they have Mardi Gras in February also. So they make sure that Mardi Gras is 1 week after the Super Bowl. It gives New Orleans time to reset, regroup.
To flip, right?
And reset. Yeah, exactly, right? Almost like flipping a table. You got to flip a city.
Right.
But since it was the year of 9/11, the NFL season got canceled for 1 week. Or the NFL, they canceled games for 1 week. So everything got backed up 1 week. So the Super Bowl and Mardi Gras combined, right? Kind of crazy. So
crazy. Biggest party maybe in history.
Yep. We fly in Saturday afternoon. Got lucky to catch a flight out. My dad lived in South Florida at the time. He drove up to Orlando. We flew out of Orlando. And we get there, and like the streets are packed. It is literally, you can't believe it. So we find this bar. We get in. We couldn't believe we were able to get into a bar so quick. We get drinks so fast. Everyone's so nice. I'm like, man, this city's amazing. We look around. We're in a gay bar. This is in 2002, the year 2002. I just turned 21 a month, 2 months before that. I just turned 21.
They saw you two handsome Italian dudes, and they gave you drinks so fast. They took a drink out of somebody else's hand. It was like, here you go, Tommy T.
Greek, not Italian, but we looked good.
Oh, yeah, Greek. That's right.
Close enough, though. We felt good. We went right into this gay bar. Obviously, no offense to gay bars, so we slammed that drink.
It plays even better. You're Greek. Right? It's like Adonis, right? It's like the whole thing.
Also, so we go to sleep the next day. We wake up. We're on Bourbon Street. It's cold. It's windy. And the creepy feeling was every building when you're walking down Bourbon Street had snipers. Because they thought this could be the next target.
Yeah.
It took us like an hour and a half to get into the stadium because security was crazy. 2 metal detectors. They're patting everyone down with any kind of beep. And then we sit down in our seats, and the seats are amazing. They're just to the right of the goalpost, right? So we're there. We have Rams jerseys on because that was like the Rams hype at the time, right? Nobody even knew who really Tom Brady was.
Right.
They thought that – I remember the Rams were 14-point favorites. Nobody thought they had a chance. Brady, this is going to be the last Super Bowl, obviously, he ever started, right? Tom Brady was just a backup quarterback. Drew Bledsoe was going to come in next year and take the job back from him, right? And in warm-ups, Adam Vinatieri shanks a kick. Not shanks it, but misses it. And everyone's like, heads up, heads up. And my dad ducks, and it would have hit him right in the head. Adam Vinatieri ends up kicking a field goal at those same uprights. And we were just to the right of the post. If you look really close when you watch Vinatieri's kick go through, you could kind of see us all the way on the left-hand side of the television screen. But Ty Law also had that pick six, and he was running that right at us. And it was just crazy to watch. Bill Belichick I don't think he blitzed once all game. He dropped 8 back in coverage, brought pretty much 3 the whole time. And the Rams' greatest show on turf got shut down. But it was pretty cool to say that I've been to 1 Super Bowl, and it was Tom Brady's first Super Bowl win, and Tom Brady obviously
turned out to be the legend GOAT and the history of who Tom Brady is. Yeah, what a great story, man.
Wow,
that's awesome.
Cool.
Well, everybody, thanks for watching this week, man. Obviously, we got a lot of action and a lot of implications on this next game. There's a history in the making on the line. Does Sam Darnold continue to be Sam Darnold, or does he take the stratosphere into the next quarterback level and become a champion, you know?
All right, guys.
But thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe. We'll be back on Tuesday. We'll break it down. Hopefully we're a lot richer. Prop Stars out. Peace.